Hey everybody, teardown continues on the 5.3 motor. We've got to get all the rest of the front components out, the complete bottom end, everything off the back, pistons, crank, everything. And then we've actually started our to-do list for everything. So we've got junkyard 5.3, transfer case work, and the things we want to do on the Jeep body for now. So we're going to start here. We're going to finish the teardown so we can get to the machine shop work. Once we get that going, then we can start working on some of the other parts and pieces. So let's deep dive. Oil pump, got to come off. Timing chain, gear, got to get it off. I'm going to start working on oil pan. Come back around here. We've got to get the flex plate off. I think we can get into the rear cover here. I think we're on the stand. If not, we'll get the hoist and move it somewhere. But that's first up. All the little miscellaneous stuff, like this sensor broke off up here. I think that's the oil pressure sensor. The lifters are still in here. So just kind of showing off what we're going to do first. And then let's get these things out, and then we'll catch up when we've got them.
And camshaft.
We've got the block completely torn down now. Just got the camshaft out. Everything came apart. Yeah, that's expected. Finally got the lifters out, pistons. We've got a couple little things still, a couple of random little bolts, broken sensors here and there to take off, but it's completely torn out. I do not have the tool myself yet to remove camshaft bearings, but I'll be getting one of those. I'd like to try that myself on this build. But this thing is completely taken apart now. We've got a pile of parts here. I've got to go through some of this for the machine shop, and then we are got our baggies and things organized, and just being real careful here. We'll probably bundle up some of this stuff just so it's not banging around, but we've got our tub for some inspections and take to the machine shop. So we can just about knock off the first item on our list, tear down. Heads are completely disassembled, both sides. We've got all the individual valves labeled for which number they came out of here. Here's the old bearings from the rods and the crank. We'll get rid of those. Got a good pile of parts here. I made some years ago a real simple valve removal tool from a Harbor Freight C-clamp, and I don't even remember what size socket this is, welded on here and cut out a little window just to get to the keepers and be able to stick the magnet in there. So good, inexpensive tool to use for this. So we're just about ready for the machine shop. New parts are always fun. I've got laid out here on the table a Energy Suspension Master Set 2-18101, and it's supposed to be for nearly every bushing on the entire Jeep body, suspension, tie rod in boots. What we got here? Grommet for trans, torque, GM transmission mount. I don't know, I might be able to use this for the AX15 somewhere because I know the positioning is going to move with the motor change. A full body mount set. There's a lot in here. What else have we got here? Spring and shackles. Spring and shackle. Stabilizer bushing. Track arm bushings. Got all this to go on. I've got front and rear shocks. I've got the new steering stabilizer arm in here. And then not pictured here is a complete front and rear brake kit with drums, rotors, all the hardware, pads, shoes, everything for a complete brake job. So I'm going to take all this, and as we start working on a piece, I think my plan currently is lift it up, take a wheel off, take all the brake parts off, and then whatever is easy to get to here, like this stabilizer bushing, the shock, anything I can get to as I'm here doing that one side. And then we'll go to the next corner and the next corner and the next. That's the plan, at least. We'll see how that goes. Got the wheels off the front here. Just inspecting and taking a look. Everything seems to be in okay shape so far. Even the pads that I took off that I can't seem to find. I've got some good thickness on them, but I went ahead, I already bought the set, so I'm going to go and replace them. Might as well. I don't know anything about these old brakes. And you know, normally when I do projects like this, I would take the entire caliper off and completely rebuild the inside, clean it, paint it, go all the way. I think for this project, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm not going to completely disassemble all this stuff. I'm just going to do a basic brake job, change the shock because it is so easy to get to. This bolt here and the top now and the sway bar links and all that, and get those bushings out. I think I'm going to just take that one step at a time and do those type of items later because it's so easy to get everything on here. But at least the quality of life improvements like the shocks and new brakes and the bushings will be nice. Maybe at some point I'll consider new leaf springs. I have read some people said it makes a really big difference if you change those out, you know, maybe get some different shackles. I don't know. I'm still doing some research. But I guess I say all that to say that this project, the focus of this project is the engine swap. We're going to get that going first, really before we do anything else, and try to take this Jeep a step at a time so we can start enjoying it again with the new motor and do all those other things. The 39 back there, that's going to be a longer term project where we will do all those things like I did to the Z project here. Okay, on that last clip, I lied. Since I recorded that clip and today, I have ordered upper and lower ball joints for everything. Everything for the tie rod ends here. Everything here for the pitman arm down. So I'm going to start taking that off. And I guess while I've got some of it off, I actually will paint and clean up some of this. I'll probably stick with the plan with the calipers. Maybe leave them as is for now. But since I'll have all this off, I'll see how easy it's going to be to take the axle off here. I've looked up some guides, watched a couple videos. It seems simple. So I'll get this off, get this, the name of this escapes me right now, but I'll get it out, we'll get it cleaned and painted, start busting these ball joints out. Alright, I got both axles out. It wasn't too bad. I had to hammer on them a little bit. I've also started to get out all the cotter pins, and I haven't loosened the castle nuts yet, but I ran into a problem. Trying to get the steering damper bolt off here, I ended up breaking my tie rod puller. It is on there so tight. So I've actually ordered this bar as the, what is this, the passenger outer. So I guess I'll order a bolt here and try to take all this unit out as one, or cut this out and not mess with it anymore. I got the front differential drained as well. So like I said, I got that off. Got this axle off. Here's the passenger side. Once I was able to bust the back of the hub free from this surface right here, it just slipped right out. Pretty easy. It's always something, right? So I did notice the other day when I took this passenger side off, this entire area was completely gunked up inside here and out. Obviously it looked like some type of leak. And not being too terribly familiar with these, I started looking up axle seals, and apparently this is a common problem on the passenger side of these Jeeps. So I've gone ahead and ordered a seal, and I'm going to get the vacuum disconnect off here, and I also ordered a gasket for it when it comes off. So I'll go ahead and get all this off, and we'll get in there and take a look, and then we'll pop that seal out this way in. Let's see what that looks like. Well, we're just finishing up putting the urethane bushings in the leaf springs. We got this side done and it's torqued down. We've got these in the shackles here. We're just finishing up on this side as well.
Yep, and I am, we're putting in the front bushings, so greasing this up to make this easier. Put the new ones in. Actually, wow, that was actually really
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
So this rear one on this side, we managed to press out the whole thing with a ball joint press kit, and it came right out really easy. And then on this side, the driver's side, It was a nightmare. I had to try and cut it in a couple of spots and then get an air hammer on it and chisel this thing out because it was really seized in there.
Yeah, we got pretty crafty with the C-clamp and trying to press it out.
So I guess we'll see what happens with the rear ones. We'll probably save the rears because the Jeep is up right now and because so much weight is missing from the front. When we try to lift it up, it gets really unstable and tippy, and so we're going to save all the back work for when there is a lot more weight on the front, maybe even with the motor in. So we're using the lift and some jack stands down here to help manipulate the front springs to do these bushings one at a time. So
you want to check this out? Just need a little motivation.
All right, got that guy in. We'll get the top one in here.
Yep.
And then we'll come back to it. Ball joints are done. Upper, lower. I've got to get the castle nuts torqued down here. Same with the new shocks. Got to get all this torqued down. Coming over here. Differential cover. Got it cleaned up and painted. New gasket on it. I did torque it down, so it's almost ready for fluid. And then here's the passenger side. Same deal. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to leave this grease zerk down here or not, so I'll have to see with the axles in. They also came with plugs for these, for the bottom ones, just in case. I don't think the tops will be an issue. But so far, so good. Slowly but surely getting through all the bushings and all the parts we've got up here. Next up, I think it's going to be sway bar, the track bar, and then start getting some of the steering back in here. We'll get some of the wheels, or get the front wheels back on. I haven't bought a tool to help install the seal in here yet. It was leaking, so I went ahead and bought a couple of them just in case I messed one of them up. But if you watch the YouTube channel Jeep Solid, he has a great idea for a tool. It uses a piece of all thread with a bunch of washers. I'm going to duplicate what he's done, and I've got to go to one of the specialty hardware stores and find the washers and whatnot to get that seal. I think you can see it in here. All right, we've got everything in here now. And so just to show off what we're trying out here, you can see we've got the little board, trying to center it as much as possible in all this knuckle out here. And so like I said, I hope the board will work. If not, we will take it off and put a piece of metal bar or something on here. So Benita is going to work on tightening this down and ensuring that this is as center as possible in here. And I'm not sure what I'll be able to see from inside here, but I'm just going to watch the distance of this coming down. Everything looks pretty centered eyeball wise, so go ahead and give the first little turn on it. All right, we finally got it in there. It took longer than we thought, but a couple of lessons learned. Here, check this out. Number one, the wood started to bow, and because we couldn't get a lot of good pressure, I needed to change. I ended up already having this piece of angle iron with these holes in it, which fit perfectly. So, I guess let me take a step back. We took the knuckle off. The knuckle was turning, and we couldn't get this lined up in here, so ended up taking it off, changing the wood to this short piece so it would sit more flush here. The other problem that we were having, the big washer that we were using to pull the seal in kept bending, and so I put it on the vise and I corrected it, and then I had this little washer here that we kind of used to strengthen up the center. And then now let's see if we can see it here inside here. See if you can see.
So
We got the seal in there. We were having a problem trying to get it to seat centered, and there's a groove in here that has to get past this groove and get into a lip on the inside here.
and the top part didn't want to go in. It was really just the bottom seal was done, but the top was not. And we didn't want to bend it or damage it in any way.
Yeah, because I hate to say this is our second seal. we messed up the first one and distorted it a bit.
It's okay, we learned.
So lessons learned.
Yeah.
Kind of just to recap again. Metal here. It was a lot easier for us to put it on this instead of on the knuckle that pivoted. And the big washer, if I had to do this all over again, I might buy 2.
Because this one was bowed.
Yeah, it was bowing. So all that pressure, because it wasn't pulling in correctly. If I had to do it again, I would buy 2 of these big washers here, so they wouldn't flex on each other. But take this out. Oh, I think we got. Where's one of our washers? Is in there. But
Okay.
there it is. We'll get that washer out. And we also, I could also see how far that thing had to seat, because on the axle here, you can see where the seal was riding before. I don't actually feel a groove, it's just where it's clean. But, I mean, you see how far in that sits and how far in that seal has to go. So,
I call it a success.
that's a success.
That's
Lots
a-
of lessons learned here.
It's a success.
I think the lesson is I don't want to do this again. Oh, also, we at one point we were testing putting the axle back in here, and I was
Do you see that?
pontificating. I may have to get a magnet. I don't think I can get it.
Okay.
I was
Wait.
wondering if this was going to be in the way, and I think it is actually going to be in the way of this right here. So we'll need to get everything on, greased, and put the plug in here I was talking about. So just more things. All right, good job.
Good job.